And now a story about Ned, a guy who used to live over here by 10th Street, until one day there was a problem. He ain't around anymore. But I hear that his memory is being perpetuated in an unusual way. Neddy was grabbed off the street and ground up into little pieces. Don't tell anybody I told you. And now there's a little bit of Ned in every jar of Skippy peanut butter. Hey, a living memorial. But let's return to our story, which was written before he disappeared. Ned. Ned was a light brown guy with wavy green hair. He had a pillowcase for a face, a chest for a chest, and 3 testicles instead of 1 brain. The most important thing he had was his exhaust pipe, though. It ran from his asshole across the floor, out the door, and all the way down the stairs to the street. Ned lived next to the dry cleaners on 10th Street for a while. Then he moved up behind Dog-Faced Kelly's place, into a little old place they had back in there behind a little courtyard. Dog-Face loaned him towels and sheets and gave him 2 piggies filled with pennies. Ned took the pennies to the cleaners, and they came out clean. He traded his pennies in for food stamps and his food stamps in for food. That's how Ned lived. Ned used to clean out his nose with kerosene. He said he liked the burned-out feeling it gave him. He joined up with a quick boxing match operation in the warehouse district for a while. He used to provide the weight for the weighted gloves Sammy Weisenstein used to provide his boxers with. Sammy's boxers usually won the fights they were in, unless money dictated the opposite. Ned broke up with his wife Susie over a can of white-faced beans. Susie claimed Ned bought the cans for their look rather than for their beans, but then forced her to eat them all whenever a can was open. Susie threw an unopened can in Ned's face, and ever since then his face was a pillowcase, but that didn't bother Ned any. He just took the can of beans and crammed it up against Susie's brain and walked out the very next day. He threw all his belongings into another pillowcase and just rolled out the door. Ned held his head up high no matter what. Not too many people could push him around, although plenty people managed to shit on him. Shit all over him, in fact, if he didn't watch out. And it was this discrepancy of the one from the other that spun him around. He just couldn't realize that there was a system out there that he was part of, that the system was controlled by actual people, big, powerful guys he didn't see, and that the system was out to strip him clean, work him over, and let him have it. The system made sure he got just a piggy full of pennies and nothing more, while the big money went to the big guys. What could be more natural? A piggy full of pennies was enough for a guy like Ned. That was the reasoning. The system could do this, moreover, without resorting to any direct physical intimidation whatsoever. No sweat, especially for guys like Ned. And so correct they were, because as long as Ned felt tough, felt that nobody was pushing him around, that nobody could push him around, he was satisfied. He'd grumble maybe, but he was satisfied. Nobody was going to push Ned around.